My WRX was making this noise only when warm and idling before I removed the engine for the second time. But for the first time since the noise started, I finally think I figured out why. Today I'm going to show you what I found and do another oil flow upgrade. A tech recently recommended that I replace this, but this is like over $1,000. I'm not at the point where I can just throw away money like that yet. So I decided to open it up and check out all the passages. All the other oil looks clean, except for the little bits that the filter caught. But I'm also gonna look at the pump mechanism itself. It's built into this timing cover, which is either a dumb design or a genius design, depending on how you look at it. And I made sure to get a JIS screwdriver because an actual Phillips won't sit properly in these screws. So I'm going to take these out, clean everything so that when I put them back in, I can apply some sort of thread locker. And it requires a good bit of torque, but it comes out. I mean, that looks pretty clean. So there's no seal on here. It's just machined metal up against machined metal. Cleans pretty easily. It's just machined gears. One slightly offset to create openings and closings, and it pumps the non-compressible fluid. This is pretty cool. And to my untrained eye, it still looks to be in good condition, but that doesn't mean it can't be upgraded. It's interesting to see the path of the oil. And if I studied it a little more, I could pretty much understand the entire path of oil through the entire engine. Maybe that's something I'll do. But anyway, I gotta clean all this up. So this is attached to the crankshaft, and along with the RPM, the change in size of these voids created by the gears rotating dictates the flow and therefore the pressure of the oil. Again, this is the OEM pump. And this pump is supposed to be an upgrade. It's from Boundary Racing Pumps. It's a drop-in replacement that claims to significantly increase oil flow. And since I was going to have everything apart anyway, it made sense to install it. Old one out, new one in. But before I could put everything back together, it was time to clean. And I started with the screws. And while they dried, I moved on to the cover. The pump came with assembly lube. Ooh. Oh yeah. Just a little bit of thread locker because I don't have a torque spec. Just a little. And once I get them all in, I'm gonna tighten them good and tight. All right, let's see, what does it move? It moves great. Now I'm gonna put these freshly cleaned passages back on. Same deal. There we go. So this is the new Sprocket. Let's open it up and make sure it looks like the old one. And it already has oil on it. Again, I was getting noise from the exhaust cam on the driver's side, and the only active component that I hadn't replaced was the sprocket. So far, it looks like the old one. So let's see if we can get this off. Company 23 makes a tool that supposedly fits this better, but this was local, so I'm gonna give it a shot. So this is a E16, and it seems to fit pretty good. All right, I have this tool that should hold it. So let's see if I can Get it off. Oh yeah, it's working. Ah, there we go. You just gotta make sure it's stable. One more. Yeah, so the cheap one works. And you can take these out and clean them. And I am very curious to see if there's any evidence in this one that it was having a problem. And this thing fills with oil. So let's see how much comes out. I still don't know what I'm looking for at this point. I just knew that the exhaust cam on the driver's side was noisy. Well, I mean, it's kind of dirty in there, but I'll have to tear it apart to see if the... Oh, look at what is in this spot here on the old one. It is RTV, but it's not RTV that I installed because I used the Permatex black stuff. I don't know how long it's been in there, but it seems like a while. It could be from me cleaning it and it's somehow getting caught in there, but I am getting more and more confident that I'm zeroing in on the issue. Go figure. That definitely could be from cleaning. I don't know how it would get in there, but it's a possibility. So I wonder what it looks like on the inside, if there's stuff that got in there. So I may be opening this up out of curiosity. Let's see if this cleans. There we go. Coming out. Okay, so yeah, that path is clear. Clean that out so when I put the bolts back in, there won't be any oil in there. So I've concluded that that little bit had been in there all along because it is too big to get through this when the filter's installed. But look at those screens. Like, it's not getting through there. Either that sprocket was off before I got the car and it got in, or somebody actually did have this off, had the filter out, did some cleaning or whatever, and it got in there, because this was the first time I ever opened that. So I don't see of another way it could have got in, but if you're a Subaru and you can think of another way, let me know. But it's been in there all along. It just, in the last few thousand miles, got lodged in that little opening. And so that I don't drop anything in there, we're going to put in the new filters now. The rear's come up. I just pushed down and it sunk down and it plunked. Let's go ahead and put the new sprocket on. There's a knob right there. And I think the little hole is what receives it. There we go. Let's see, do these other holes line up? It looks like they do. Manual says 13.3 foot-pounds. I set mine at 14. It's kind of awkward. Let's see if I can figure out an easier way to do that. Maybe like this. Yeah, that'll work. All right. Now, that's on and tightened to spec. And I really do not want to take this one off, but after finding debris in this one, it would make sense to just go ahead and check it since I'm already here. So let's do it. I just worry about the more stuff I remove, the more mistakes I can make putting things back together. But if I would have removed this before, I wouldn't have had these issues. Ooh, knuckles. No, this one looks good. This one looks good. Maybe a little bit of trapped oil, but this one didn't have any issues, but it was worth checking though. But now I can clean it out from this side. Yeah, and there's nothing in there. I did spray it out, but if something was big enough, it would have been trapped. Now I gotta wait for this to dry, but I will clean off the bolts as well. Now I can put this one back on. Clean this off one more time. Oh, apparently I did a good job before. And I have dreams of being a master at applying this RTV bead, but I'm still working my way up to being a beginner. All right. But I will get more practice because I forgot to set the cams at the no lift position. So the cam carrier didn't lay flat and I ruined the RTV bead. So I had to clean everything up and do it all over again. Dadgummit. There we go. Just gonna tap it until the RTV starts to squeeze out a little bit. All right, well, one side went a little farther down than the other, but that'll work. Now I'm gonna tighten the bolts to 14 foot-pounds. The RTV is cured, so I'm gonna do the same thing on the other side. I waited so that oil wouldn't drain down to the uncured RTV. The filter rests right on the other side of this in the cam carrier, and unlike the other side, there is no debris. Maybe a little, but nothing like the other side. Let's flip this over and see what these filters look like. And I can already tell that there is not much in these. I inspected them and there is maybe just a little bit of debris in there, but I'm 100% certain that if they were all like this, I would not have any issues or concerns. Out of abundance of caution, again, I'm going to check these. Ooh, I'm glad I'm doing this because there is evidence of somebody not changing the oil frequently enough. I am finding lots of goodies. Oh my God. Ah, look at that. So I'm curious to see what's on the inside. Oh, when I pulled this one out, this fell out. This car is full of surprises. And again, I had no codes and no issues. William, is this the exhaust? No, that's the intake. So I got to figure out how to put that back on. Now that is dirty oil. Now there's no more dirty oil in there. Stay on top of the oil changes. That's the lesson. Let's rinse these off. That still blows my mind. That is just gunk-y. All this stuff I could have checked when I pulled the engine apart, but everything on the outside looked good. I should have known better. Looks like it was just sludgy oil because this brake parts cleaner dissolves it pretty quickly. Yeah, the oil came right off, but that means I gotta try and clean this out a bit. So I can do some cleaning, but I need to look into how this goes back together and why that came off. I may be ordering another sprocket. I'll see you next time. In the next video, I will show you why I don't think I need a new sprocket, and I'll try my best to get the engine back in the car and test drive it.